Have you ever wondered about this strange idea? If God exists outside of time, then what exactly happens when we pray? Welcome to today's episode. We're exploring a question that sits right at the intersection of psychology, philosophy, and how the human mind experiences time. Because here's the puzzle. For us, time feels very clear. There is the past, there is the present, and there is the future. We remember yesterday, we experience now, and we hope or worry about tomorrow. Our brains are built to live inside that line. But many religious traditions, especially the Abrahamic ones, describe God very differently. They say God is outside time. And the moment you hear that idea, a very natural question appears. If God already sees the future, and the future already exists, then when we pray for something that hasn't happened yet, are we trying to change something that has already happened? That question is where things get interesting. Let's start with how the human mind normally thinks. Our brains process life like a moving timeline. Events appear one after another. First something happens, then we react to it, then something else happens. This cause and effect chain is how we understand the world. So naturally, we imagine prayer like this. We pray, God hears it, then something in the future changes. But if God is outside time, that model may not work. One way philosophers explain this is with a simple story model. Imagine the universe is like a novel. Inside the story, the characters experience time page by page. They don't know what comes next. A character might pray and say, "Please let tomorrow be different." But the author of the book already sees the entire story at once. The beginning, the middle, the ending. Now here's the important twist. The character's prayer might actually be part of the reason the ending turns out the way it does. In other words, the prayer isn't something that appears after the story is written. It's already inside the story. It's one of the events that leads to the outcome. This idea shows up in a classic theological perspective. Instead of saying prayer changes destiny, some thinkers say something slightly different. They say prayer is part of the path that leads to what happens. In that view, the sequence might look like this. Someone becomes sick. They pray. They recover. The prayer didn't arrive too late. It was always part of the process. But there's another way people try to imagine this. Think of the universe like a giant map. If you are walking inside a forest, you can only see the path directly in front of you. Left, right, forward, you make decisions step by step. But someone looking from above might see the entire forest at once. They can see all the paths. Knowing which path you eventually take doesn't mean they forced you to take it. They simply see the full layout. This difference between knowing and causing is one of the key debates in philosophy. Does knowledge of the future remove freedom? Or is it simply a different perspective? And then there is the most difficult idea of all. Some philosophers say that for God, there is no past and no future, only a kind of eternal present. From that perspective, events that are thousands of years apart for us might appear at the same moment. Your prayer, a prayer from centuries ago, a prayer from centuries in the future, all visible at once. For a human brain, that idea is extremely hard to imagine, because our minds are built for linear time, past, present, future. That's how our memories work. That's how our decisions work. So trying to understand timelessness can feel a little like explaining a new dimension to a creature that has never seen it. The creature keeps asking, but where is the next step on the line? Because for it, everything must be a line. And interestingly, even modern physics sometimes plays with ideas that sound similar. Some scientists talk about something called a block universe. In that picture, the past, present, and future all exist together, almost like different locations in space. We move through them, moment by moment. But the full structure may already be there. If that were true, it would raise the same strange question again. If the future already exists, what exactly are we doing when we make choices? Or when we pray? One possibility is that prayer doesn't change the mind of God at all. Instead, prayer changes the person praying. It shifts perspective. It shifts intention. And a changed person might walk a different path through life. Another possibility is that our understanding of time is simply too limited to grasp the full picture. A mind that lives inside time may never completely understand what it means to stand outside it. Which brings us to the final question. If a timeless perspective can see the entire story of the universe at once, does the future already exist? And if it does, what does that mean for freedom, choice, and hope? Maybe the real mystery isn't just about God and time. Maybe it's about the limits of the human mind, trying to imagine something beyond its own timeline. And that question might be the most fascinating part of all.